then you have the glimpse and everything to play around.
Yeah.
But REKONIX, I think on their side, their team fight is pretty scary with Global plus the Sand King epicenter. And eventually, like I said, you have the Wolf Bite on the Sven, which is, I think, he's the strongest hero in this game for sure. You know, he's going to outskill everybody. It's all about just getting to that point, right? And whereas for Kukuys, I think their hardest scaling hero is probably the Queen of Pain. You know, like Ultra late game, Queen of Pain is also a very, very scary hero. But they do have some answers, some decent answers against him. You know, the Sand King, I think, is pretty good at bursting the Queen of Pain down. You have the Global, and you have the Sand King plus Hoodwink combination. You know, this is like the highest win rate duo at TI. So this itself garners a lot of confidence for REKONIX in this game.
What exactly about the Sand King Hoodwink duo makes it such a great pairing?
It's the shot from Hoodwink, so it gives extra magic damage, you know. So it will actually completely destroy a hero that's caught in the epicenter.
Right. Like I mean, the Sand King himself can already put out so much damage. I think no matter how tanky you are, 25% additional spell damage. That is a huge
nothing survives that. If you get caught bushback and barrel strike with the epi on top of you, nothing survives. Unless you are Wraith King, where it doesn't
you come back a second time.
Yeah, it doesn't really count as surviving. It's more like you have a second chance.
Yeah, or Abaddon, maybe, actually. Yeah, but none of those things are relevant in this discussion.
Hey, bro,
as we get off to game number 1.
Abaddon could die, you know, because there's a break from Hoodwink.
Oh, yeah, you're right. If he doesn't pop the ultimate.
He could still die.
It's still the Wraith King that's the main survivor. That's my goat right there. Unpicked at TI, if I'm not mistaken. Very sad. I miss that hero. I miss the days when you...
Thank you. No, thank you.
Wait, what the hell's wrong with you? What's wrong with Wraith King? No respecters?
Wraith King is too annoying. You have to kill him twice. Twice the effort.
Yeah, well, every Dota hero is annoying in their own way.
Twice the bounty, so it's not fair.
But then, can you imagine if Wraith King gave gold on his first death? That would literally destroy the hero. What's going on here?
You gain...
You gotta say EXP. Don't know. I think Wraith King's fine the way he is. And please, the man's not even being picked right now. He could use a little bit of help.
He has a very high win rate in pubs, but never mind. In this game, he is not here.
Yes.
We are going to
Screw
see
him.
Spirit Breaker running around pulling creep waves. Nothing
Classic.
Nothing Silencer can do.
This is a little bit scary for the Lycan here, because I think once you hit like level 2 or level 3, you could just run down the Lycan. JG, speaking of being run down, nice blood grenade. Varish finds the connection. Early level in the glaives, just harassing down the Mars. How did that even happen?
Why is he dying again? Remember the last game?
Yeah, the
Darkseer,
right?
The Darkseer game, yeah. DJ was pulling as well, then he actually went up to take the creeps. And then this happens again, you know, like he's just really greedy. And you have to be contented in foregoing some creeps to ensure that the wave, or maybe they have to try to switch things around. You pull as the SG and give the lane to the Mars, and the SG takes the lane. Takes the creep wave in front, you know, just get the XP, since the Mars can't sit still, you know.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what that was about. JG, you know, they've sort of preyed on his more greedy tendencies twice now. I mean, it's different teams, but it's clear that they're familiar playing against him and they know how to punish him. We'll see whether that ends up actually mattering, because of course, in the early levels, you know, the Silencer, Sven, they can put out a lot of harass, but all JG really needs in this lane is levels, right? You get a bit of gold, that's fine, but you will have a bit more time once your allies start making moves on the map to try and recovery farm up.
Yep, now the SB is level 2, so he is free to begin his game.
Alright, here we go.
Yeah, this is what we are talking about, the sentry boss. So far, Queen of Pain has a sentry in the lane. Sand King has to buy more. And this sentry is going to determine everything in this lane. If the Sand King doesn't get the reward, he is not going to be able to farm creeps in this lane.
Yeah, he might as well start stacking already for himself, because it's not really looking too hot. Queen of Pain even has a very nice ward placed on his side of the lane. Gonna come in for a stun in your dream, looking to make the space as his sentry comes on the courier. It's just pushed the wave in as well. It's pretty good timing. Gonna get that instant D-ward, pop it on the high ground, get that out of the way.
Yeah, the top lane, this is kind of expected that the Monkey is dominating this lane against the Lycan. The Lycan is still getting his fair share of XP. I don't think he cares so much about winning his lane. As long as he is getting a decent amount of XP and gold, he's going to be able to have impact in the later portions of the game, especially get a decent timing on the helm. And the game really
that's
starts.
really just the plan, right? Like you don't really function as a hero until you get that item, and then that's when you start making plays.
And it kind of frees up a lot of things that you can do as the position for him. You don't really need to play around the Lycan as much. I mean, he's getting glimpse back, but Lycan is, I think he's one of the better heroes at playing alone in the lane. He's pretty tanky, he has a lot of regen, it's pretty hard to kill.
Yeah, not to mention if you try and go on him and he has a howl level, he just cuts your attack damage down by such a significant margin, right? He doesn't have it leveled yet, but for these future attempts, it should be pretty easy for him to just shrug them off. Helm of Iron Will already complete, so his sustain in the lane is going to be completely Gucci. Regenerating like what? 12 HP when he's near the tower every second. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's going to come down to the rune control. We mentioned a little bit about how important it is for both sides to secure the runes for the Queen and for the Sand King. I'd argue it's probably a little bit more important for the Queen, because she wants to be able to move around, whereas the Sand King just wants to care about his stacks. You know, he wants to clear stacks. He doesn't really want to move as much. And the Monkey King is going to play a part in that. You know, he needs to, I think, contest the stacks in some way or help the Crown Prince secure runes so they can steal the stacks. I think he has to be active here on the Monkey King this game.
A little bit of fumble there from Delol. Still doesn't have the boots, so hard for him to get the move speed to properly pull that camp.
Yeah, the nerf, it's the nerf. The box is bigger nowadays, so you need to reach the Ancients a lot earlier to pull double stack.
Looks like there's a bit of a setup happening in the top lane. TP in from the Spirit Breaker. Looking for an angle. They've pulled back the lull and the charge is there. Looks like the Hoodwink is absolutely toast. Gonna try and turn around maybe for one last bushwhack. At least give the kill over to Kuku instead. Kuku has to take the last hit. So, I mean, it's still a win, obviously, for the side of Kukuys, but at least the Monkey King didn't get it.
I mean, it's gonna be the rune time. I mean, you're still dying at not a very convenient time. He needs to TP and help the runes, but that's what the Disruptor and the Spirit Breaker are already here setting up. The Lycan did send his wolves to help, so they have half a hero here.
Ends up being the bot rune anyway, so nothing the supports really could have done to
bot
influence
right
that.
Go
Looking to punish. They are very aggressively positioned on Jikro and Barish. Jump forward, scream back. The setup is clean. And with the Spirit Breaker coming in, Jikro does not stand a chance here. What a beautiful setup there. JG baiting them in, and the response is fast. And I mean, that just turns around the entire side of the lane.
Yeah, those kills were really, really significant. It's gonna help the Mars kind of reach his level 6 a lot faster. He was kind of getting bullied in the lane because he was alone. But now he has a little room to breathe. 5.5 levels after this wave. I think they probably should give him the Shrine as well. I think in this sort of situation, you could give the offlaner the Shrine because he's playing alone.
Yeah, but you kind of really want those ultimates on the supports as well, right? Like the Static Storm is going to be so relevant, and DJ, he spent a lot of time roaming around, so he's only at that level 3. This is kind of where the Spirit Breaker innate comes into play though. Your herd mentality, just kind of spreading EXP a lot nicer around all the lower level heroes.
Yeah, I totally forgot about that. There used to be a combo with this and Warlock. Remember, there was a time people would pick Warlock.
Oh, yeah, and then you just artificially inflate the EXP in one fell swoop, right?
Yeah, you make sure
That's
to
pretty
use
cool.
the Black Grimoire when you're the lowest level, and you get the buff from the herd mentality.
That's pretty cool. I didn't even know that was a thing, to be honest.
And here comes the Monkey King. You better know this. He's here.
Gabby. I didn't even realize, thought that was a tree, if I'm being honest. Jikroy, not enough damage to finish him off. This is troublesome. He needs to get Jingu lifesteal off. Gabby can't find the stacks and ends up trading 1-for-1. Kukuys now trying to escape, but Dalol off the mark with the spear. JG. That's gonna cost him. It could have been a kill. Missed the bushwhack though. Here come the wolves trying to slow him down. He's out of mana for now, and the glimpse will hold back the low, but not before the Akon shot comes out with slow. The reach will find a -1 while DJ cleans up on the back line. Trading evenly, but for sure that is not what Kukuys wanted.
DJ is fair though. I believe that has to be some sort of good news for them. He's the main playmaker. 3-0, level 5 on SB. I mean, you mentioned the importance of levels on the two supports of Kukuys, Disruptor, and SV. They're both level 5 right now. I think this is
Sure.
absolutely great news for them.
It's gonna be a little bit painful though. It comes at the cost of Gabby's farming time and of course the Mars as well.
Yeah, but that's okay. Because as a Monkey King, you're probably not going to be able to carry the game. So you kind of need to enable your teammates a lot more than yourself.
Okay. Well, as long as Gabby knows that, you know what I mean? I mean, we know that.
He definitely knows that. That's why he made the move. He went God, he kind of sacrificed himself, put himself in a dangerous spot. But he's okay kills, they got levels on the supports.
Kuku trying to come in here and contest the stacks, but he's far too late. Already being cleared out by In Your Dream, and he spotted out the sentry as well, so not gonna prevent any of the stacking going on here. Meanwhile, DJ just being annoying chasing down Jikroy. It's not really a threat of the kill unless the Queen of Pain joins up. Sonic Wave available, they just need to find the right angle, throw it out, yell in agony. Even the Croaker tosses him up just to really make his day a bit harder.
Even the Croaker doesn't like him, yeah. 3 heroes there, but he decides to toss the Sven up.
Yeah, that's tough.
It's like the whole world is against you.
Indeed, indeed. At least for now, the Sven not really having the best of times. Lowest net worth core, Jikroy. We've seen him recover from these tougher games before, but it's going to be a long way to go before he catches up. I mean, the Monkey King doesn't even have a natural farming mechanic, and he's still sort of outdoing the Sven very nicely right now.
Yeah, at the same time, they don't really need the Sven to be fed. I think the important heroes are the Sand King and the Lycan. They're both doing fairly well. Especially the Lycan. I think the Lycan is going to lead a lot of the plays for his team. And meanwhile, the low, he's going to die here. I guess from the point. No, about 2 more ticks.
Could try and get a deny. Doesn't manage to find the timing. Kuku does pay the price though. Meanwhile, Gabby was able to set up on FBZ in the top lane. Looks like JG came forward with an arena through the twin gate. Great rotation there.
Yeah, that is actually a huge kill. He's the one that's on top of the network chart for his team. And he's the one that's going to be leading a lot of the momentum. Like they want to play around the Lycan with his helm.
I like the twin gate so much for this very reason. I think in the sort of previous iteration of Dota before this map was expanded and twin gates weren't available, you have to hold that thought in your dream. Gonna wind up the epi. Static Storm is there though. Global Silence couldn't come through in time and he's gonna get punished. But yeah, back to the point I was making. I think the Sven recognizes that he can't stand in the bot lane, right? And in the past, you'd have to move your mask all the way to the top and then you have to walk all the way back to bot to make any sort of play. But now connecting to your allies is so much easier and you kind of get like rewarded for being smart about your timings as well.
They're both like literally the same lane in a lot of ways, right?
Yeah.
Connected through a highway. And you have to really use it, you know. I remember how broken it was before when it didn't cost mana.
It's crazy. People will just pop in and out just for the vibes. Varish does get picked off in the mid lane. That is starting to feel a bit like a death zone. You can't really afford to stay there. Blink reveal, In Your Dream, in with the epicenter. That's gonna be Kuku going down. FBZ not even needing to use the shapeshift. They have their eyes on the tower and that's what they'll settle for.
And here comes DJ. He doesn't want to let them get away.
Oh,
Good
FBZ
arena.
now he
Just
throws the
in time.
shapeshift, but the arena walls catch the dot, the sonic wave. It's a bit too girthy for him to run past and he's gonna get tagged by it. FBZ ends up going down, even though he's taken the tower.
Yeah, it's probably time for REKONIX to sit back and just chill a little bit. They have to play around the Lycan plus the epicenter. They need both spells to be up. 2 heroes playing on the same area. I mean, they're getting pressured by the Disruptor plus the SB a lot right now. So I think they feel like they need to make some moves, but instead maybe they have to try to be a little bit more defensive. Like you just have to wait for them to come to you and just make sure the Sand King is ready to counter initiate with the epicenter plus the global silence. You don't want to really go and attack their towers and then you fall into the trap that you get killed and sometimes
Oh, D-Ward spots Jikroy. That was such a clean setup there from DJ. No chance for the Sven to survive, and you're talking about them needing REKONIX and the rest of the team to be ready for that jump. They just couldn't see that one coming.
Yeah, they have to be a lot more proactive with this. Also the vision, right? They where are their wards? They actually they have 1 and 2 wards below on the bottom side. They're gonna have to play around all the vision a lot more. And they're gonna find a kill here on Monkey. Actually,
Are you serious?
that. that
Global silence in the mid lane though. Speed of pain dropping low. A lot of damage. Lewis still able to survive. Jikroy comes in now looking for the cleanup. DJ with the Sister Shroud. Trying to come in with the epicenter, but you just don't have the damage. DJ's a bit too tanky, even with that Lotus. And they don't get anything. REKONIX brought 5 members to the mid lane just to find a bunch of missed opportunities.
Global is down. I mean, they still have Epi, so maybe they can still try to go for a pick off. But you see, like the lacking in damage right now. They don't really have a lot of damage to kill through this all these tanky heroes. I think when Sven is ready, I think that they'll solve the problem. But right now, they have to like maybe split them up and try to take small little fights here and there.
Yeah, it's also not great that there's like 4 Sister Shrouds on the side of Kukuys right now. So we talk about survivability, they got that maxed out. What a busted neutral item, man.
Well, he got nerfed a fair bit.
And not enough, clearly. The low getting caught out. Trying to clear
the
out
same
the
ward.
vision established here. I think it's a slightly different one because the previous ward they had was near that Croaker camp. And then the low had cleared that one out, but Kuku's gonna re-establish some vision in that area. It's so hard, right, for REKONIX to reclaim their own jungle.
They have to use smoke plus global and epi. They need to wait for the next global. I think this area is an area that if they do not secure, it's going to be very limited for its cost to farm. They're getting caught again. This disruptor as
Storm.
finding another kill. Nowhere is safe. All the wards
Insult to injury, I mean, that looked like a very slow kill, but it doesn't even matter because they get it at the end of the day. This is what you want. All that net worth being pumped into the spots. Look at how rich they are. The Spirit Breaker, 4.5k net worth almost, and the Disruptor heads and shoulders above the other 2 supports.
Yeah, REKONIX needs to regroup and they have to kind of bring all their heroes together. At least 4 of them have to go together. Even though it's not as efficient.
But where are they going? Where do you want them to go?
Either reclaim their jungle or try to go and take a tower. Probably reclaiming their jungle on the bottom area. They have to like make sure that there's enough space for the Sven to farm, you know. Because right now he is not getting a ton of space to farm. They're gonna secure the rune for 60 minutes. It's gonna be top, so unlucky for them. And now they have to really figure out which side on the map to play, right? Do we actually go top and open up the top side? Because the Sven, and you look at where he is farming, right? He is really scared, you know. He doesn't even want to venture out to take the wave, right? He thinks that there is an ambush coming for him. So if he wants to go there, he needs to wait for his team to smoke over. They have global to kind of cover him, but again, you know, not the best way to use global if you always have to use it to save a teammate.
Yeah. You save the Sven just for him to be able to farm 1 or 2 extra creep waves. That's not the value you need. Like you're saying, feels like REKONIX need to try and make some sort of intervention happen in this game. It's already getting to that point where it's a little bit rough. Still could recover here, but 5k gold lead at this early stage. It's not the best situation to be in. Jikroy now will show on the wave.
I mean, they just need like one good fight. They need to read where the SV and Disruptor is starting a fight, starting a move, and they have to just be there. You know, I don't think they lack the heroes to deal with it. They have Global and Epicenter. I think these 2 big spells should be, in theory, more than enough to at least blow some of these heroes up, you know, and turn the fight around. Yeah. They just have to be in position, right? Because if you're not in position, then it's all down the drain, you know. There's nothing you can do with your heroes. And they have like another extra ward down here, so they have 3 observer wards covering the bottom side jungle, so they are really protecting this area. Yeah, they deem this area more important than the top side.
Okay. Well, I mean, the Sven isn't, or at least hasn't really been looked at. He's just been farming the safest place on the map right now. Doesn't particularly seem like Kukuys are in a rush to try and make anything more happen or force any issues. I feel like usually in this type of situation, you know, you're 5 to 15, you feel very healthily ahead. I like the discipline that they're playing with, though. Maybe in a sort of less focused game, you might have run some supports into dangerous areas, fed a couple of kills, but they understand they don't need to push the issue per se. There's a lot of fear that REKONIX are operating with, and I mean, right now they're gonna venture into the mid lane, find Kuku. They're gonna epicenter this. Okay, Static Storm still comes out. He gets his spell off, but I don't think there's any way you can capitalize on that in your dream kill.
Yeah, no one actually TP'd to help him. Maybe if someone came faster, they're gonna come in with the arena, catching out the low.
Yeah. That is a dead hoodwink. FBZ popping the ultimate. They want to punish JG here, but a beautiful charge through before the global could come out. Jake right there with the damage though. The Sven from out of nowhere punishing Lewis. That is a huge kill streak to lose. DJ dropping as well. Oh, REKONIX, they're starting to get some nice bits of gold, but the Sven chained to his death by the spear. Great setup there from JG, and now without the global, Gabby can go to town. This Monkey King is ready to punish. He's slowed down by the last word. Does he have the move speed to keep on chasing? Boundless Strike is available, and the damage is there. Double kill for Gabby, as the Lul still trying to set up. Nice Power Strike onto 2, but can you really threaten here? More Jingu damage, more kills going the way of the Monkey King, and Lord Gabby is very pleased with that offering.
Yeah, REKONIX definitely underestimating the power of the Monkey King. Not respecting him, you know, they're still trying to go in when the fight was clearly over. Because you don't have Sven, you don't have Shapeshift, you are not killing the Monkey King, you know. That's it, you know. Like without, even the Sand King went in without Epicenter, he was trying to just use his Sandstorm damage, you know. That is a bit
That's
too...
very ambitious.
Too optimistic, you know, for my liking.
Yeah. I completely understand what you mean. And it looked so good for REKONIX for a moment there too, right? The Sven able to capitalize on Global Silence, kill the Queen of Pain that has eluded them for so long this game. But even after that entire fight, the gold lead remains exactly the same. They weren't able to walk away with any sort of a lead just because they ended up biffing the rest of the fight.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Now Manta complete for the Monkey. He's very happy looking at finishing up that Black King bar. I mean, I know you mentioned that the Monkey can't carry late game, but hang on. A lot of magic damage coming out thanks to the Hunter's Boomerang, and Kuku will go down. He's not gonna bother throwing out that Static Storm because he realizes there's no need to. But here comes the Epicenter, trying to punish Gabby. A big Lotus in his pocket allows him to heal all the way back up, and then changing the guard, dodging the damage. FBZ still running really quickly around the map here though. The nice Yules to interrupt. JG looking for his angle though. Here comes the Barrel Strike, stopping DJ from finding anyone else. Jinkroy coming through the tree line. How has he found that? Oh, Lewis caught out again. I don't know what exactly gave him the vision of that Queen of Pain, but what a play there. Now they're going to try and convert this to a Tormentor. Gabby ready to try and set up though. The Boundless a little bit awkwardly timed. Not enough to steal anything away or stop the side of REKONIX.
Now that is a big turnaround. Now the goalie goes back to 1,000 or less than 1,000. So REKONIX definitely successfully pulled the game back with that move. Wait a minute.
Out with the spear. Jekroy probably gonna go down here though. Static Storm now to hold the lull in place. And the back and forth continues. So much for pulling the game back. Pull this the lull hoodwink back for Gabby to munch on. Just needs to jump up into the tree. Still got the vision. JG will finish off the kill. DJ a bit late to the party, but now they might even be able to contest this 21. I don't know. Varij beats them to it. But still, I mean, both teams really just slugging back and forth at each other with no mercy.
Yeah, again, the lacking of discipline, right? After they claimed the Tormentor, they didn't really back off and reset. Because they already used all their spells, right? There's no point trying to clear out the remaining. Like, he got greedy with the remaining camps. Like, you know, this is like a very typical thing with carry players. They take control of an area, they win a fight, they try to finish everything in that area, farm every single lead, right? But at the same time, you also have to respect, like, the enemy, like, respawn time is already coming to an end. You need to back off when they are arriving, you know? You can't really just try to finish all your camps. And he stayed a little bit too long, got caught, and that was it, you know? There's a Monkey King, like, on the trees watching him.
Yeah, Gabby. Grandmaster tier on this hero. Extremely comfortable with it.
Not the most conventional carry hero right now.
Yeah, I'd say so. I feel like a lot of the times we see these top teams utilize it more in the mid lane to try and control the tempo, roam around the map and cause chaos. Just feels like it's very matchup dependent, right, on the position one. There are some carry matchups that are so Monkey King favored, and then there are some where you just kind of get blown up by the rest of the team when your BKB is down and it's really awkward to get things done.
I think against the Sven it might be okay. Because you can fight in the arena, you get armor, then you can kind of like run around, dodge the sun.
I mean, you got changing the guard as well, right? So if you manage to get that off, you're buying a lot of time for you to
Yeah.
Just kind of juke the Sven around.
Basically, you're trying to run down his BKB timer. The Sven with no BKB is going to get kited really hard. You know, look at their heroes. There's so many ways of kiting, either with the Shadow Strike, SB charging, glimpse, the spear.
I mean, even the kinetic field, right? If you don't have the BKB, you're just going to be caged like a sad little dog.
He's going to be pushed around like a sad little dog, you know, in the team fights.
Yeah, sad little dog. Hopefully not the case if you're a REKONIX fan. They are slightly behind in this game, but they've shown they can take a good fight, just not really showing the discipline that's needed to sort of keep resetting and finding new opportunities. Let it slip out of their fingers a little bit here, but now a smoke move up. Kukuys, they're on the prowl. Smoke gonna break immediately onto In Your Dream. Global Silence comes out a bit too late, but the Yule's buying him some time. He's gonna come back down, Barrel Strike away. Stun on the sidelines though. Jikroy able to finish off the kill, and Lewis the same. Sonic Wave on the back line. FBZ already shapeshifting up. They want to put more use into this God Strength, but Gabby looking to set up on the tree line. Doesn't feel confident enough to do it onto FBZ alone. Trying to bait out Lewis. They know Gabby has to be around somewhere, but they don't know exactly where this Monkey King has bounded off to.
Still trying to go in for...
Okay, well, I mean, charge onto FBZ. I don't think anything's gonna happen there. Varish able to survive thanks to the Solar Crest. A swing and a complete miss there from Gabby's Monkey King. They don't find anything else.
That's not the worst. He didn't die after going in against like 3 to 4 heroes. He's alive. He's gonna be farming his next item.
I will say that was
the butterfly. I mean, the butterfly is going to be like a huge power up this game. This like the next man. If he's able to get it before the next fight, which is
for sure.
probably going to result in Moshan going either of one of these teams.
Okay. So that's what we can look forward to for now. I was just gonna say, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I just thought Jikroy, I mean, he's been playing these engagements really well, right? Apart from the one moment where he got a bit greedy and didn't back off, it feels like he's always on a relevant target. In the previous engagements, he was always jumping on the Queen of Pain with the Global Silence, and then this time round, he completely singles out the Mars before he can cast any single spell. There was no arena, no spear, nothing in that fight.
Yeah, the jumps are going to be very, very crucial. Do you get the right hero? Whereas for Kukuys, they are definitely looking to try to burst a hero like Silencer before he pops his global, or even the Sand King. I think these two heroes are going to be very, very important for them to focus down here. All they need is the right vision. Then you have the glimpse and the charge to play around. I think Monkey King is probably going to be the main person that's providing vision for them, you know, jumping around the tree to scout out heroes, which would work better at in the daytime, you know, not at night. Nighttime is probably better for the REKONIX side with the Lycan.
Yeah, also just hiding around the tree line with their Blink Initiators, right? A lot less vision for you to react. Popping the God Strength going into this Roche. I mean, they're not going to wait for the butterfly timing. They want it to happen now, and DJ walks into vision. DJ goes down. Nice catch there, Lewis, with a Sonic Wave, but the Yule's dodging out most of the damage. That's not where you want to be as the Queen of Pain. Global Silence forcing the 4-staff. Gabby, a huge arena onto 3, but the BKB comes out and they're starting to chop through the Mars. The shield isn't going to help him here. Gabby going to come through, Boundless Strike onto 2, but he just doesn't have the time to set up the Wukong's command. Gonna try and chase for more. Buyback on DJ. That's the setup on the high ground. They are gonna put the Wukong's command down, but the ring is slightly in an awkward position. Jikroy just gonna turn around, cut down Lewis, and Gabby, he might be fighting in the Wukong's command, but he has no more allies around him. Jikroy, with the tail end of that God Strength, punishes the lineup of Kukuys, and DJ has to turn tail and flee. The only survivor risking his own dieback. The Roche is gonna go into the hands of REKONIX.
There was a lot of confusion in the beginning of the fight. I think they wanted to get like arena, like the Monkey King was standing along the trees very close to the team fight, and he was waiting for the arena to come up so he can put his Wukong's command in the arena, right? And that kind of like didn't really happen because they were hesitating too much. So in the end, what ended up not working out is the Mars went in and the Monkey King went backwards, right? So they didn't go at the same time. When he turned around and it was already too late, the Mars arena was kind of wasted. And the Wukong was also wasted, right? So I think they just weren't on the same page, you know, in that fight, and that resulted in the team fight going so poorly for Team Kukuys.
Yeah, one of the things about having many circles in the ground is you generally want to place them together at the same time. A bit of a setup here onto In Your Dream. Nice barrel strike away. Couldn't get the latch on the spear, and the Sand King will escape. This kind of game just feels so frustrating because you feel the control starting to slip out of your hands. You were playing from ahead with your Shadow... sorry, not Shadow. Spirit Breaker, Disruptor lineup. You're chasing down these heroes all around the map, and suddenly you're the one being picked off. Lewis, who started with such a great game, has just fallen off in terms of his net worth, always getting easily swiped down by this Sven. It's not a good look.
He also is halfway into both items, right? He has the plate meal, but he didn't finish the Shivas, and now he thinks that he needs a BKB. Because the global is kind of also very problematic for him. All their heroes need a lot of items right now on the Kukuys side. The Monkey King needs to finish his Butterfly, which is going to be huge. The Queen needs to finish BKB.
Okay.
So much to farm, so little time.
Yeah, just getting picked off all across the map now. The God Strength means that Gabby cannot contest here. Still trying to work his way towards that Butterfly for the evasion timing that you talked about, but 8k gold lead now in the hands of REKONIX. Starting to feel like a steeper and steeper climb for Kukuys to find their way back into this game as the items start coming online for REKONIX.
Yeah, it just seems like they are not going to be able to sit and farm. They have to try to use the mask, you know. I think one of the cores needs to just run around with the supports to set up kills. Either you protect one of the cores trying to push out waves, or you have to try to bring the aggression to the opponents to create a distraction so you can farm on your other cores. You know. If they're not doing anything, they're just trying to push out lanes just like this. It's probably not going to work out for you.
Yeah. We were talking a little bit about the Monkey King potentially being positioned for and filling out the Helm Dom. Well, one side has a Helm Dom creep always, Helm of the Overlord creep always pushing out the waves, and the other doesn't. So you can see how small the map has become for the side of Kukuys. They are just being choked in from the bot lane and the mid lane. They have no space to go.
They need to decide which item they're going to wait for and just go and take a fight. I don't think they can wait for every single item. The Butterfly and the BKB, choose one. Probably the BKB, it's closer. He needs to farm another 2 or 3 waves of creeps for Luis.
Uh-oh, Kuku.
I mean, this is the problem, right? If they're farming, they are just going to get dwarf here because Lycan is controlling the map.
What is this blink forward here, and what is that shapeshift? I guess just maybe expecting a bit more of a follow-up was FBZ, but now that ends up being a shapeshift committed basically just for a support kill.
Well, it's not that big. You're right. The cooldown is not really that long. So 1 minute, less than a minute actually. And the main cooldowns would be the Sand King, Epicenter, and the Global. Those are your 2 big spells. And the God Strength, of course. Can't forget the God Strength.
All 3 of those things are up right now, and they are ready to rumble. Looking to push in the mid lane, but do they dare to go high ground, you think? They have Aegis. Is there still anything else that they need to push the issue?
Actually, I would like to see them get the Wolf Bite though. I think the Wolf Bite is going to give them more team fight.
Sure, okay. It's not really something on FBZ's mind right now though. They get the catch onto DJ on the side lane again. You know, I just saw the game and I understood how many kills were happening in the past 5 minutes. I would have thought that the Disruptor was on the Radiant side. They just seem to consistently be catching people out on these side lanes. Set up onto FBZ, immediate BKB. So quick with the reactions, and he's going to be able to sprint on out of there, not giving them any quarter.
And because they move all the way bottom, Tormentor is going to die. Things are definitely looking really, really good for REKONIX. The last 5 minutes have been like some kind of surge in income for everyone. Because they won team fights, they get the Tormentor, they got Roshan a lot earlier. So
they find the side lane pickoffs, you know.
It's all about the wave. They were able to push the waves with the Lycan, with the Helm, and the Wolves, you know. I think that is what's causing a lot of problems right now. Because Kukuys, they don't really have a good hero to shove out the waves. Everyone has to show on the lane, right? You need to show your hero to clear the creep waves. And the fastest clearing hero is probably either the Monkey or the Mars, you know. You can clear it with 2 spells, but sometimes you need the Mars to be in the smoke, right? So then someone else has to do his job, which is not the easiest thing to do right now. When you have a Hoodwink hiding in the trees, you don't see Sand King, you know, the Hoodwink and Sand King can just literally blow up any single hero on your side.
Yeah, and also if you're not fast enough, the BKB is going to come out. They get the setup here, FBZ. They know he doesn't have a BKB, but he can just do the thing where he walks away with his legs. They just can't chase him down. You've already lost the Disruptor. You need to TP out. And Jikroy, he is angry. He's going to punish both supports for it. REKONIX, they were so ready for that. And even without his BKB, they can't kill the dog.
They missed the spear, that's why. He didn't land the spear. He was trying to spear him towards his team, but he didn't land it. You know, that would have actually resulted in a very, very easy kill on the Lycan. And things are definitely looking very, very bad right now for them. Queen of Pain,
Yeah.
Lewis, it's going to be okay, but JG needs to do something for his team. He's been like missing a couple of really important spears on the enemy heroes, and now he can't. I think there's no more room for any more misses. If he misses one more, the game is just literally over.
Oh, Gabby. Not sure whether they spotted him here. He's gonna get that high ground vision. Boundless strike on the tree line. Barrel strike connects. Finds with the Yules. Look at that epicenter. It's gonna go. Gabby doesn't have a BKB. Gabby doesn't have help. There goes your Monkey King. Oh, Kukuys. They have lost it. I mean, I don't know about whether they lose the game like right now, but it just feels like they're in pieces.
Yeah, they're not sure what to do. They're running around like headless chicken. There's no clear, leader that is telling them, okay, this is what we need to go to, where we have to go to.
DJ in the mid lane. All these pickoffs, they get so much easier. No way of stopping that TP, I say that, but the Bushwhack comes off cooldown. Another easy one. There's the spear onto the Lycan, but what was this supposed to set up? The Global Silence prevents the Queen from following up. And now Jikroy popping that God Strength. Buyback onto 2. They want to try and punish this overstay, but pause. As Disruptor.
Silence deepens.
Okay.
Not the best time to disconnect. So you're giving the Radiant side time to think about what to do to respond here. So Sand King is in the mid lane. He's running over.
Have that BKB on the Sven still.
Yeah, he is going to be fine. No way to kill him here.
I don't even know whether he needs to pop it. He's going to try to survive. Turn around with the damage onto Queen. Lewis just can't stand up into the damage coming out from the Sven. Mars dropping very low. The last Acorn will finish the job. The Lul able to sneak it through the tree line. And Gabby, where do you think you're going? This is a buyback for him, and if he dies, the game might just well be over. I don't know whether it ends regardless with how strong REKONIX are looking right now.
And there's only one place Gabby is going right now, to the next game. There's nothing more he could offer. BKB is down. I mean, even with the butterfly, he can't stand in the face of that enormous magic damage, from Sand King and Holdwing. Without BKB, he can't go in.
Seems to be the case right now. Remaining members on the side of Kukuys can do nothing but watch their Rex go down. All they can hope for is the fact maybe REKONIX give us a little bit of a break. Maybe REKONIX back up and try and take a Roche that hasn't spawned yet and give us maybe one last fight, but it just goes back to what you were saying. The JG initiations, they just haven't really been landing the way that Kukuys needs him to. The Lul being charged out, pulled back in. This is a nice pretty pick off here. The Lul dropping low, but the Godstring comes back out. Jikroy looking for a target, held back by the kinetic fence. Oh, almost all his HP disappearing on Kuku. Still has a buyback available, but the Monkey King able to slide away out of trouble. Saw a ping come out. They must have seen him in the tree line or something, but was able to jump away. In your dream, did you spot him? Doesn't seem like it. Meanwhile, silence. A last touch. Lewis able to escape this time round.
The defender's gate saving his life.
Gabby's still getting vision, but he cuts down the tree in the walls of the arena. That's not what you want. You've griefed your own Monkey King, and he can't get the arena. Oh.
Alright, Gabby has had enough. That's it. This is it. Even his teammates are against him, doesn't want to do this anymore. Taps out, calls GG, time to reset and focus on the next game, figure out what do we put JG on, if they definitely come to him.
Not the Mars, not the Mars. He has lost his Mars privileges after this game. Not like this.
No, it's the type of hero. They need to focus on the type of hero to put him on. I think he really excels at the Helm of Dom type of heroes over the map.
Let's see whether that ends up being the case. It's for their tournament life here, Kukuys. Could be the last chance for them to have a good showing here. In your dream, back on the Sand King. Had a stellar game the previous time round and looking to repeat that performance. Have fun, Varish. Respect from one position 5 captain to another. Love to see it.
Any interesting facets?
I mean, Simeon's Stride makes sense, right? For the Monkey King from the mid lane, and then other than that, everything looks pretty
I mean, most of the
straightforward.
players just stick to the changing the guard, I think. But
Yeah.
I mean, Seaman Strike is like position for Monkey King stuff.
Maybe he's just expecting to move around a lot.
Yeah, mid monkeys just doesn't feel the same anymore nowadays. He is laning into a Sand King, which I think again is gonna come down to sentry walls, but I don't feel like it's gonna be that one-sided lane. You know? I think this Monkey King is not gonna be able to push the Sand King out of the lane. I think last game it was tougher for Sand King against the Corp.
Let's see whether that ends up being the case, because we do have to remember
do you
that
know why?
Lewis...
Do you know why you can't push him out? Because there's a miss chance when you're trying to hit him. 50% miss chance.
the Sand Blast, right? I think it's just
20%.
I mean, I'm just kind of respecting the opinions of the players, right? Because this Monkey King was picked after... Oh, Gabby. Ooh, Gabby. The Ink Trail, keeping vision of him. FBZ and the LoL almost get it done. But yeah, the point I was trying to make is, even if we don't think it's a counter, clearly this is something that Lewis is saying, okay, give me the Monkey King mid against the Sand King, I can make it happen. So, already stacking up the Jingu charges, has that early sentry out.
Yeah, but look at the health. Who is actually taking a better trade is the Sand King.
Yeah, I mean, you say that, but the Sand King only has 1 CS out of the first 4 in the wave, so I guess
The CS
some sacrifices to be made.
I think the CS doesn't matter as much. You want the levels. I think this hero is playing more for the levels so you can clear the stacks, right? And you look at the wards, they've already placed the ward to block both of the Sand King's camps here. Very, very ready for this.
A very smart play and very smart warding coming out from the side of Kukuys.
Yeah.
See whether they're able to
I
change
mean, it's
their fate
also a
here
very
against Sand King.
interesting dynamic, right? Sand King decides to use his sentry to deward the lane sentry, but then he's going to find out later both his camps are blocked, so is he going to wait for support to deward it, or he's going to move to the other side to play, right? So there are a lot of decisions that the Sand King has to...
Top lane, Varish dropping very low here. DJ will be the one to fall for first blood. Nice little fairy fire at the end there. Jekroy. He would have loved to get the last hit. JG now gets solo EXP for a little bit. Kills off the annoying opposing support. Not too bad for the Mars as well.
I mean, not too bad for the Night Stalker too, you know, he's getting pretty much like a free lane. I mean, they can't really pressure him with the Night Rain facet where the game starts at night time.
And things probably get a little bit more difficult for him once daytime rolls around. It looks like he's going the Helmdom build as well. Not really the most obvious Helmdom building hero, just because the creep itself doesn't really get your bonuses. Not like something like a Lycan, right? Cuckoo. In a little bit of trouble. That Inkswell's gonna do a considerable amount of damage. Get the chase going. Brain set to give him a little bit more HP, but I don't think he's surviving here. Nice little aphotic shield, but it's only temporary. FBZ gets himself a nice little kill.
Yeah, just not respecting the level 2 there. He was one creep away from getting level 2 on the Bane. And that would have probably been okay for him, you know. He could have just slapped one target and run away.
Still remains to be seen whether this Night Stalker can have a lot of impact in this game. It all comes down to that. After 5 minutes, right? The first bit of this game, we're starting out with the Night Rain. You know, he's gonna have a swell time. But I'm expecting Kukuys to try and punish him later on. Kuku, though, he's the one eating the punishment right now. Just needs to consistently be shielded by Gabby to even get the trade-off. They will at least be able to secure the Lotus. I say that. Gabby gonna block the way off. FBZ able to sneak in, try and find an angle. They can't get it. And now the Lul's being slowed down. Blood Grenade comes out. The Lul will be the one to fall, but they get a trade out for it. So FBZ kills Kuku in the end, but Gabby, I don't think he has a problem with that at all. Oh. Speaking of farm though, for now, top of the CS board, all the players on Kukuys doing very well for themselves here. And JG able to get most of these last hits and not really denied by the Morphling too much. I guess only with the higher levels in attribute shift, that's when you feel a lot more comfortable squaring up to the Mars. Yeah, what changed? What are the key differences, you think? Did he just get clapped by like the combination of spells? It must have been, right? Unlucky.
Dire's courier has been killed.
Yeah. Yeah, if I'm not wrong, DJ, did he do that from the tree line as well? Just catching the Morphling completely off guard. Very nicely done. Yeah, now he just needs to make sure to convert it into teamfight impact, right? Because he had a pretty okay time the previous game, but when he was throwing up these arena walls, he was missing some of these spears. It wasn't really a good look. Varish being pulled back into the clutches here. DJ is the one dropping low though, and again the deconstruction causes DJ to be the one to go down first. Varish has way too much move speed for them to chase, and JG just has to give it up.
I'll take your tribute.
Nice little dodge away there, Lewis. Fancy footwork to get himself out of range of that Inkswell. Dodge the stun and secure the kill. 50-50 goes in the favor of the Monkey King. A bit painful for the Sand King there, but what can you do? That's just the nature of Dota. FBZ taking a lot of pressure in this bot lane, chased down by Lewis. Monkey King already making his presence known here in this game number 2.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant's top tower is under attack. Dire's structures are fortified.
Yeah, FBZ tucking himself away.
Dire's courier has
Fight here in the top lane, you think?
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
I mean, honestly, it's not like Jikroy can provide much. Uh-oh. Huge boundless. Yeah. And he gets the kill too, so much better trade for the side of Kukuys than REKONIX there. FBZ continuing to suffer. He had a good early start, but that's to be expected of the facet like we said. And now Kukuys, they're doing a great job at punishing him now that it's daytime. Dude, Lewis is doing everything that he can right now on this Monkey King.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Time to move.
Now a haste rune.
Radiant's
Yeah, but the supports in question are dying to the aforementioned Monkey King. Varish comes out the tree line, looks for a stomp, but can't even complete it before Lewis slaps him down. You just get your boots. This guy's moving at max move speed. A setup now. Yikes. Here comes the kisses onto FBZ. When your support outlevels the opposing offlaner, that has got to sting. They want to give the last hit to Lewis, and he just gets it delivered to him on a platter. He already has the Blade of Alacrity, almost at that Robo the Magi. And in just about 1,000 gold, he's going to get that defusal. This will be an insane timing for Lewis.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Kuku kind of messing with them with fancy footwork again. Will have to tank the full epicenter. Still surviving because of the drain though, but it's not going to be enough. Ends up being a trade 1-for-1, support for support, but you use your ultimate. Wukong's command did get expended as well. I guess that's one consolation. But I don't think the monkey actually needs the Wukong to find more kills. He can just continue exerting his pressure on the map.
Radiant are scanning.
I mean, not to mention the fact that he had to go for the phase boots just to survive the lane against the Monkey King somewhat, further slowing his Blink Dagger. We've seen some Sand Kings skip that boots upgrade entirely, just to go directly for the Blink and start making plays. Now, the consolation for FBZ is that it is nighttime now, but he still doesn't have his Helm Dom at the 10-minute mark. It's tough, man. It's tough, but now they're going to try and threaten Gabby, forcing the borrowed time, so that's at least something. Now he's finally level 6.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Dire's top tower is under attack. Dire's top tower is falling.
At least
Yeah.
the Morphling's getting a decent bit of net worth. He's still behind all the Radiant cores, but Vlad's complete, building his way up, slowly but surely accumulating, as Morphlings like to do. He's gotten past the point of the game where he might be susceptible to just burst from 2 or 3 spells. Should be able to survive most of the ganks unless a Monkey
They're
King
tipping
finds
bot.
him. For kill, Kuku ends up going down here. Didn't need to use the Dark Ascension for that one. Pretty happy probably for the side of REKONIX.
Yeah, as I said, they have to try to use the Dark Ascension or play around the Night Stalker to create some sort of diversion on the map so the other cores can farm across the board. I mean, eventually their heroes are going to come online, but they just have to figure out how to get there, you know. Sanking is going to get caught in the arena. It's actually not Sanking, Elder Titan. I don't know why I said Sanking. Sanking is halfway to his dagger now. He's happy he wasn't the one in the arena.
Absolutely.
You see a bunch of sentries everywhere rewarding the camps.
Yeah. I mean, props to Kukuys, right? They know exactly what In Your Dream wants to do on this Sand King, and they've nullified him, at least in this early stage of the game. It's on his way to recovery, but it's taking some time. This is what you mentioned as well, Winter. You said that there would be a whole early game period where the REKONIX draft just feels so sluggish and so slow. We're living in it right now. Kuku, he has complete freedom to set up whatever he wants on the map. He's getting these deep wards. The scan comes out as well. Kuku, spotting out Varish. Sleepwalk down to the low ground. Are you going to grip him?
Don't need to.
It's not.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
At least it wasn't the Morphling.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
I mean, he's going to have to ditch the area. He's going to get this cam and he has to probably gate and escape. And things are getting really, really tough for Morphling to find some farm on the map. He sees the Bane. He knows they're coming to him, but he still stays in the arena. He doesn't know there's a ward on the high ground. Yeah, they see him. He doesn't think that they saw him there. That's why.
Okay, well, whatever it is, he does get the Strength Morph off, but Lewis has now joined the party. Nice little boundless stun. No more mana to work with. Jikroy slowly but surely gonna get chased down. I say that. There's the Stomp onto 2. Elder Titan ultimate coming out as well. The sleep holding him in place. Jikroy surely not enough HP to get out of this one alive. Lewis will slow him to a crawl. And he pings out. Yeah, they have vision, but in comes In Your Dream. Epicenter wound up again. All you get is a support kill, but you need to get what you can at this moment.
Yeah, it's gold into his dagger pocket. He really needs the dagger. You know, it's already 40 minutes. Like, how often do you
Oh,
see,
but look at the timing. They're not in position to secure this Wisdom Shrine, so the Abaddon's gonna steal that away from them, furthering the EXP advantage. That is painful stuff.
And that's the least of their concerns right now.
You think so?
There's too many problems to solve. They have to solve the problem of the map first. They have to use this dagger to kind of open up certain areas to farm, you know. Can take a fight somewhere, regain control of their jungle right now. Because there's no safe place for the Morphing to farm, so the smoke has to come right now. The Sanking needs to make a move. He's going to move. He's going to run into the Mars. No dagger. No
Doesn't even have Epicenter though. Although Mortimer's kisses out, they at least get the Mars out, but the low might have to pay the price for it. An AD Rune Monkey King means you're not going anywhere, and In Your Dream just gets beaten down by the casual Boundless Strike. Lewis wasn't even concerned for a moment.
I mean, that was a move that they had to make, you know. I think eventually you can't just sit and farm. That was I think, decent trade overall. Night Stalker is still here with Dark Ascension. He's looking to see if he can actually make a play. But probably not going to be able to do much here.
Yeah, for Rish, that's a very easy pick off for them to get. DJ, man, this Snapfire is so over leveled right now, and he has so much net worth, man.
What did he buy? Did he buy the shard first?
I think so. Has to be, right?
No, he bought a Glimmer first. He has Glimmer.
I don't mind that too much. That's a pretty solid item into all the magic damage that they have.
Royce in trouble again. You can't swap strength against Abaddon in it when you're so low.
I'm not too sure what the thought process was there. Maybe thinking that his allies could help him a lot sooner. Lewis getting focused on though. Epicenter trying to come in, but look at the Mars separating the fight. This is what you needed in the previous game, and he's coming up big now. In Your Dream still gonna come through the Barrel Strike, finish off Lewis. You needed to get that killing streak off of him, but In Your Dream ends up going down as a result, and they're looking for Varij as well. As the dust settles, it'll be a full team wipe for the side of Kukuys. Ultra kill for Gabby. It cost them Lewis, but it's more than worth it. And JG, I think he's redeemed himself.
Yeah, this game feels like it's really close to being over right now. One more fight like this, it's just going to be too hard to dig themselves out of this very deep hole that REKONIX has put themselves in, you know. It's a very slow lineup. Didn't do well, too hot in the lanes, and they're paying a huge price for it. Sanking is the only one that can make plays on the map, and they're gonna really need him to make another move very soon. I think as soon as you get the Dark Ascension, they have to go together. 60 seconds before they have it again, and maybe fight for Tormentor, I would say.
Do you think this Helm Dom on the Night Stalker is a mistake?
I mean,
Because I kind of feel like
it's not the build. It's not the build. I think it's just the way that they are playing and the nature of the lineup, you know. And some of the fights, I felt like the Night Stalker maybe should have just prioritized helping his team over getting his own items. You know, I think he is playing a little bit too selfish for my liking. You know, I think he's connecting a little bit too slow. He came to the fights, but he wasn't coming early. You know, he was just like at the tail end too, and then sometimes he couldn't really do much. Especially, you remember the mid fight? As soon as they got dagger on Sanking around 14 and a half, they made a playmate, and the Night Stalker didn't come right away.
Yeah, it's a little bit strange here. 8k gold lead now, Gabby leading the charge. This is what you talked about. Immediate Fiend's Grip in. They have the Storm, but the control, it's overwhelming. Might just be enough for Jikroy to waveform out though. Beautiful setup there from the Elder Titan to bail out his carry. Kind of a bit of a mistake there from Kukuys as well, right? I think they assumed that they would be able to burst through the Morphling, and they ended up layering a lot of their disables on top of each other. I hear an Epicenter. Where's it going? Onto Gabby, onto the Abaddon. He doesn't have an ult, and he goes down now. DJ in trouble. Jikroy, is this where REKONIX start to turn things around? They get 3 kills for their troubles. The Mars and the Monkey managed to escape, but what a turnaround there on the back of the Dark Ascension and the vision given.
No Abaddon ulti, no Mars ulti, again, they're making the same mistakes. They have to back off after the mid play. The Monkey King is alright.
Who was that on? Like, was he trying to get the Sand King?
No, I think he was trying to kill the Grim, Then the Grim didn't go for the last hit on the creep, and then he just looked like he was casting.
Looked a little silly.
So awkwardly there. Yeah, but again, this is the same issue from the last game where they make a play, they get a kill, but in this instance they didn't get a kill. They need to back off and reset, right? I think they're not very good at understanding that they have to go back and wait for their spells and go again. They're just playing way too aggressive.
Just a concept that eludes them for now. Maybe that is the answer then, Winter. At some point during the draft, you were asking me whether I thought this lineup didn't fit the Kukuys style, and maybe having heroes that need to consistently reset just is something that's not
but it takes
second
time.
nature to them.
It takes time. It doesn't matter what lineup. There's going to be certain downtimes you have to respect, right? Sometimes your opponents have their timings you need to respect. Then you need to back off and hit your own item timings. It's not just the spells, right? Sometimes it's because of the items. You just have to play around those timings. If you can't play around timings, then you're going to lose a lot of games. Because you're playing just based on intuition and you're trying to be aggressive all the time.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if that's kind of the vibe right now for Kukuys, right? After all, they've always been sort of a more, I want to say casual stack, but with as little disrespect to the players as possible. At the end of the day, they still very much are content creators first and foremost, who just happen to be so good at the game that they can bring it to the big dogs in these close qualifiers. It still remains to be seen what actually happens if Kukuys qualify to one of these like events, right? It's actually going to be hilarious. Nice little smoke break there. The monkey was disguised up with the mischief. Have an idea that the rest
going to be a big one. Dark Ascension.
REKONIX spotting out the spots, but Sleepwalk comes through first. Nightmare able to push the Night Stalker away. He could be in trouble, but the spear completely off the mark there while Jigroy chasing down the supports. In your dream there for Barrel Strike, in comes the arena. A nice little soulbind holding the two heroes in place. The Lul will probably go down for this one. What else can you find here? Epicenter coming through. Gabby still has that ultimate, gonna tank all the damage. In your dream, he's gotten out of his own sandstorm, and he will be revealed bright as day. Nice little stomp. I'll split down to two. Yeah, okay, Varish, that not really sure whether he needed to show himself there. He ends up going down, so a pretty good fight, all things considered, for the side of Kukuys.
Yeah, it didn't really start out very well. They needed to buy back on the Bane to kind of salvage the fight though. The Mars missing the spear after they slept. They started with sleeping the Night Stalker there. I think it was a really nice catch by Kuku, but they couldn't really capitalize on that, In the end, they still won the fight, but it could have been way better without having to lose the two supports and use the buyback.
Yeah. On the bright side, I guess DJ gets a free shard, right? And we already talked about how strong this Fire Snap Cookie upgrade is. Just allowing you to clear the creep wave without needing to show. And that's such an important aspect of when you're playing against a Night Stalker or Sand King who want for you to show and then they pick you off.
Don't forget the heal. 200 HP heal.
True. Yeah.
Always comes
make
in
the difference.
handy.
Absolutely.
And you have 2 charges of it at level 20.
Yeah. Still a while to go for that Snapfire, of course. Speaking of shards though, Grimstroke has purchased his own shard as a first item. I think it's one that makes a lot of sense, especially throw it onto In Your Dream, helping dispel some shit, and of course a lot of spell lifesteal as well that comes with that.
Yeah, but what's the thing you're gonna dispel? It's not much. But the Amphi... Not Amphi,
I want to say sleep, or like...
It's mainly Amphible... No, it doesn't dispel the sleep because it's not strong dispel, it's just basic dispel. So it's just things like Amphible and maybe the slow from the rebuild. I don't think there's anything else to dispel.
I guess the Abaddon passive as well, if he doesn't attack you like a second time immediately after.
Well, I guess. So it's not exactly that useful.
Yeah, into the Roche Pit they go though. Kukuys looking to claim that Aegis, perhaps for Lewis, perhaps for Gabby, we'll have to see. I think FPZ has an idea this is happening, and it's still nighttime, so this is his realm. We'll lose the Croaker, unfortunately, but...
That is not a fast Roche, This is getting a little bit scary here.
Maybe it was all just a bait play. Wrapping around, Centaur gonna break the smoke. Kuku on the front line. FBZ sees him from a mile away. Pumping that ultimate, Kuku trying to Tumbler's Toy away, but in your dream, looking for an angle. Barrel strike off the mark onto Lewis, but the Inkswell still pops. They're trying to save Kuku and get him into a position where he can grip, but the Yule's up. They're trying to focus down the Sand King. He Yules himself to buy himself that much more time. He needs a barrel strike out, but he doesn't have it. Meanwhile, leashed up is Jikroy with Gabby, and they're able to take down the Abaddon. They lose the Sand King for it. These supports are still dancing around. Kuku ends up going down now. Lewis trying to get the kill onto FBZ. Dark Ascension coming to an end, and so will his life. FBZ gets burned out, and the Yule's there set up for Varish. 3v3 situation now, but the Morphling, he's looking very strong. Nice little Glimmer Cape away. They can't find the last bit of damage onto Lewis as he jumps back to safety. JG, no way of chasing him as he blinks away as well. Had that available, still choosing to just stand around. I don't think they can challenge Jikroy no longer. This Morphling will at least take the tower.
And that fight was so close to going into REKONIX's favor. Somehow DJ does not die. He survives with the skin of his teeth, and then he comes back, he uses 4 stuff, and he helps the Monkey King get out, you know. It could have been like a 4-hero kill, you know, for REKONIX right towards the end.
Sure.
I mean, him being like fat this game just kind of was the difference maker in that fight.
That's kind of concerning, right? Because we just saw the Morphling squaring up into the Abaddon. We talked about how that passive is a counter to the Morphling, but it didn't really feel that way in the fight. The Morphling was just able to isolate him and out-damage him. Of course, that's going to be a different story if they fight now, especially with the AD rune on Gabby. Now it should be a pretty clean-cut Roche.
And the Morphling is steadily and slowly getting stronger. And once you get to the butterfly point, this is going to be a very, very huge fight. I don't even feel like doing the Aegis now away to the Baron is that big of a deal, you know, for the Morphling. I think as long as he gets to his butterfly, and then you get to the next item, maybe get a pike next. I'm not sure what do you do after the butterfly, or do you need to go BKB? I think one of those 2 items after that. I think eventually he's going to be able to just solo carry the game, you know, on the Morphling. And Kukuys, they're definitely on a timer. They don't want to let the Morphling get to that point. They have the Aegis now, they want to fight now, they want to do damage.
Gabby, positioned very far forward with that Aegis. Might have just revealed on the side of REKONIX that they have a ward on that high ground. In a safer situation, DJ might have swung over to deal with it at this point. I mean, maybe you're still going to try and find opportunities here despite the Aegis, right? You know it's on Gabby, so if you see any of the other heroes, these could still be very relevant pickoffs.
Yeah, you're definitely not touching the Baron right now. You know, ignoring him, you're going for other heroes. And Sand King, Epicenter, going for Mr. Kuku again.
It just eliminates him. Arena comes down though, Sand King in a lot of trouble. You have a safe Knife Earth Splitter and his own Yules. Gets speared into the wall as it comes down, and in your dream, Barrow striking away. Whoa. Are you serious? Is he really gonna live? He blinks! The Mortimer's kisses couldn't catch him. Wanted to give him a smooch, but the Sand King says absolutely not, no thank you. Stay away from me. The Lul trying to say the same to Gabby, but Gabby, he's not listening. He has his own agenda, swipes down the Grimstroke, but Jikroy looking strong now. Able to stand up into Gabby, still has that Aegis, you got to remember, and they buy back on the Lul. They know they need to try and win this fight. Jikroy on the last sliver of HP, but he's able to morph into the Abaddon and get his own shield off. Lewis coming into the middle of the fight with the BKB, starting to do a lot of damage. He just wants to connect onto the Morphling and will find the last shots. Lewis saving the day there and getting Gabby out of trouble. Varij will not stand a chance against the Tricore, and FBZ, it's bright as day in here. He's got to thank his lucky stars. He's got a Blink Dagger up to the high ground. They spot him on the ward, might still be chasing on Lewis with that Simeon stride jumping forward with the Boundless. And that is FBZ gone. Gabby was just a bait, and Lewis was there to clean everyone up.
Yeah, I was surprised they turned around to go back in. I think as soon as the Sand King got out, somehow he doesn't die. That would probably be the signal to back off, right? But the Morphling, he was like, what, 300 gold off his butterfly? Like, that would have been such a big item to get before he enters the next fight, you know. And then in the end, he decided to fight before he got the butterfly. And then he was so close to killing everybody that I think that's probably the end of this game. We are going to most likely move into a game number 3.
45 seconds without your Sand King certainly looks likely, but the one thing about the Kukuys lineup is they don't really take objectives the fastest, right? Gabby's going to be swiping away at this one for a while.
Now he has 30 seconds. He has ulti.
Okay. Yeah, fair, but Jikroy is also alive and they have Dark Ascension.
Okay, they have somehow managed to delay enough for one more fight. There is one more fight in them. They have to get the butterfly and try to look for a moment to take a fight with the Dark Ascension.
And what do you think is going wrong here for the side of REKONIX? Are they just a bit too far behind that it's hard for them to fight, or are they sort of misplaying certain key decisions? What do they need to do here?
I think in the last fight they definitely misplayed, they needed to just back after the Sand King got out, he was so low, he was not in battle condition, he needed to go heal. But somehow Jikroy decides, nope, I don't need you, I am going in here. I'm gonna turn into the Abaddon and I'm gonna fight. I mean, if you want me to tell you what it boils down to a lot of the team communication, decision making, all the small little things. It's not about like Dota. They were not really thinking about stuff too clearly in that fight.
Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
Sure, yeah.
I mean, butterfly is not an item you try to fight without. When you're so close. I think it's as strong as like a BKB power spike. At least in this game against the Abaddon and the Monkey King. And now because of that fight, In Your Dream is gonna get caught, and now the Blood Taunt is already out. He has Blood Taunt.
Who are you talking about? The Monkey King?
No, Abaddon actually has Blood Taunt, I think. So it's gonna counter.
No, not yet. He still
yeah?
has. He still needs to buy the Hyperstone.
Oh, okay. One more item to go. So he's gonna be close to the Blood Taunt, which is going to deal with the butterfly.
Okay, Varish. Kind of gets a bit distracted on Gabby, but still chasing forward. Sleep is there. Kuku ready to set things up for his Lord. Gabby is terrifying right now.
Yeah, without a Silver Edge, they can't really kill him. Once they get Silver Edge plus the Night Stalker Silence, they can just silence Silver Edge, break him, and just kill him. But who is going to buy the Silver Edge? Feels like apart from Morphing, no one else can buy Silver Edge.
Nice little blink away there from the Night Stalker. The Mars even went forward for the chase. Oh, okay. Oh, they're gonna go through the Defender's Gate. Nice little soul bind, forcing the BKB out from the Monkey. It's an awkward position where can't really get down to the low ground. Has to pop the Wukong's command for safety and will actually just bail out of that location, understanding that it's not one favorable. Right in, onto 2, but In Your Dream almost just dies from that move. In fact, he's gone. That's your Sand King in the dirt. Jump forward with the arena, forcing the BKBs out. Morphling, he needs to get out of here. He's the last hope, and it is gone. There's a buyback available for him. But at the very best, it's going to be a 3v5. Make it a 2 with Varish going down as well. He has a buyback, but they are done. They throw the towel in. Winter, you were right. We're going to a game number 3.
Yep, we are definitely going to a game number 3 right now. Good fight back from Team Kukuys. They had a lot of like character and heart, right? Picking 3 of the same heroes from the last game when they got stomped so hard, and they were able to figure out, okay, it's not the heroes, but it is the way we were playing, right? We just need to figure out how to play the safe lane, and they have to try to use that to play that to their advantage, right? Control the runes, enable Lewis to rotate, and I think he could be the difference maker that eventually helps the Centaur get into the game.
Yeah, Lewis, after the departure from Execration, a chip on his shoulder for sure. You can see the looking for team tag behind his name. He's trying to prove himself, show that he's still got the stuff to stand up to the big dogs. Yesterday, he kind of got beaten black and blue by his replacement, Bob. And he's going to want some revenge. We'll see whether he can make it through this game number 3 first.
Ooh.
Early smoke out. FBZ around the corner, wrong side. Uh-oh. You need a cookie to the low ground. You need some sort of a save, but they go for the scatter blast instead. FBZ is done. In Your Dream with a huge shield crash onto 4. Actually, was that 5? JG's not getting out of this one. Kuku might have drawn first blood, but you get a couple of nice kills. One on Jikroy and one on Delol. That just about evens things out.
Unlucky.
30 seconds.
The Pango didn't get any last hits. He would have loved to get the last hit. So He has the double jump facet as well, expecting the lane to be difficult against the co-op. Very understandable. We have definitely hoped to get a kill there, but they're gonna smoke. It's a late smoke.
Wow.
They're still looking for kills.
Why not? FBZ's back. Ready with a rebuke. Maybe just gotta try and bait them in. They do not and will not see this coming. Lewis thinks better of it. He doesn't see anyone on the map and he's scared.
Yeah, so the outcome is probably a little bit more favored for REKONIX, 2 kills. They are going to be looking at at least a 50-50 laning phase. They don't really necessarily have to win the lanes. They just need to get levels to get to their teamfight components of the draft. But the lanes are going to be tough, you know, especially the mid lane. The co-op against Mango matchup, this is a tough one.
They also do get 3 bounty runes. That's kind of a big deal. DJ gets an early observer D-ward though, so very nicely done. Just going back into that area where they ended up losing the fight and understanding the only way you would have taken that advantage is if you had vision. A wise man once told me, Winter, if you are set up from the draft to have winning lanes, the last thing you want is to fight at level 1, because then you introduce a whole bunch of variables. Is that why REKONIX was so hungry for another smoke move and maybe to try find more kills?
I mean, it was also the fact that I think it was a surprise, right? You're not going to expect it after that level 1 brawl. You're thinking, oh, they go back, you know, they just want to secure runes, and then all of a sudden they get another kill. It could definitely destroy the equilibrium of the laning phase, you know. So I think that was a pretty interesting idea to do that. Just didn't work out. I mean, right now we're going to see the Mars. He's going to be able to pull the wave all the way back to the tower. This is going to be the main method that he's going to get farmed in his lane against the Bane and Razor, which is very, very strongly. They're going to get level 2 first, so Kuku has to be careful here. He's only level 1.
How relevant is it if Kuku dies? Because if he sets up for a kill for the Razor, surely that's worth it. DJ being glimpsed back into the clutches of Jikroy and Varish, putting out a lot of damage onto this task,
I mean,
but he's just a bit too
look
tanky.
at how they adjusted. The last 2 games they did it, when they did the pull, DJ was behind and JJ was in front and he died both games. And now they did the pull and he went back to take the wave behind.
Wonderful stuff. Good job, JG. He's learning.
I don't know if he's learning or they just swapped because he couldn't learn. Because he wasn't supposed to die when he went down.
Well, things are kind of set up nicely, I think, for the side of Kukuys, like you mentioned in the early stage. Maybe just JG and DJ on the Tusk Centaur. They're putting out a lot of damage onto Jikroy, though. No refraction available. Big stick needed to use the glimpse to get the distance away, and DJ taking a big melt hit. The transference pushing away JG. Sorry, not the transference. The transference is the facet that you can use it on command. It's the electromagnetic repulsion. Yeah, that's correct. There you go.
You're welcome, sir. Transference is a very hard facet to use. I've seen people use it. But I think the value,
it's pretty cool though.
I think the value of the Thunderstrike double slow is actually too much for the Thunderstorm facet. I think it's mainly that. Because when you pick the wall and the transference, you lose the double slow on the Thunderstrike.
It's so useful for harassing in the lane and just kind of keeping people off you.
Not just in the lane. I think in the mid game, the double slow actually helps you set up glimpse a lot easier. It's way more reliable compared to not having the double slow. It actually makes a huge amount of difference. That's why it got nerfed, I think, what, twice?
I mean, it's just one of those things that people really haven't experimented with the other disruptor facets quite as much, so it's not something that you're familiar with, right? You don't know a disruptor that doesn't have that double slow by default. That's me, at least. Every time I play disruptor, I pick this facet and it just kind of feels nice.
You've never tried the wall? I mean, the wall facet? Some people...
No, I've never tried.
Some people think that's the way to play.
Those people would be a little bit crazy for my taste. Kuku dodging away from the swashbuckle, getting some nice sustain because of the brain set. He's gonna try and trade out for the low. The last hit goes their way first. Kuku, even has a stick charge to try and survive, gonna start punching away onto Varish. Still has a bit more regen. The snowball to save. Are you serious? Kuku ends up going down, but he makes 2 kills happen. Here's In Your Dream, forcing the blink out. Just gonna put some damage onto DJ, TPing right in front of his face. He needs the rune real bad. Can they get the blink over? In Your Dream, he's not gonna try for it.
concedes. That was a right concede. The Corp would have definitely gotten there. I mean,
Now he's taking quite a
this
bit of
definitely
damage.
sucks for the Pango now.
Absolutely. Even though he got some nice kills, it's not going to be enough, and he takes a second Shadow Strike. Here comes Kuku with the Blood Grenade, with the Brain Sap. It's more than enough damage. Lewis finds the kill, and this is especially painful because look at the huge creep wave that he's missing.
Oh boy, this is tough. He is going to be in struggle city.
Well, at least the low gets a little bit of EXP.
He doesn't even have TP because he TP to try to take the ring. Now he's gonna have to walk out.
Damn. Walk of shame, brother. Walk of shame. You might as well swash while you're at it. You need to get there ASAP to try and recover. All things considered, CS-wise, he's honestly not doing too bad, right? Up until that point where he ended up dying, it's not the worst. He's keeping up. It's not out of it just yet. Maybe look for early rotation. Either the supports come to mid, or maybe you move to a side lane once you get that level 6.
Yeah.
Try to make things happen.
I think he needs to avoid fighting into the trio. The Corp task Bane. He needs to go to the side lanes and play in the side lanes. The Glimpse onto
back.
JG. JG with the helm. He is very, 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 very.
Yeah, even with the melt hit, it looks like a normal auto attack. So that's kind of the current state that he's at. 2 levels in the return as well.
Yeah, trying to discourage the auto attack, but
Heard a snowball in the mid lane. Onto the Pango again in your dream. Holding the shield crash till the very last moment. Here comes the TPs. Scatterblast. So much damage onto the Tusk. They just need a little bit more. The Blood Grenade will pick him off. And Lewis forced to blink away. Varish looking for the distance on the Glimpse, but only level 2 and can't find the connection.
yeah, that was a very, very good rotation to punish the Tusk there. And Pango was getting bullied so much, they definitely needed to stop it from happening. And now comes the Shrines. Seems like Kuku is going to indeed try to steal it, as every Bane player does, you know. They just try to steal the Shrine.
If it's just one hero there, you can very reliably sleep them out of it. And it doesn't look like the side of REKONIX are ready for this. DJ walking over, that's going to alert them to the presence of some established heroes there. The shard slightly off the mark, couldn't block them off. Kuku's still going to try for it though. They're not going to give him a chance.
Space, I guess. Oh, okay, that is
come
definitely
on.
space.
Are you serious?
Better luck next time. Perfect. Oh boy.
Everything from top to finish, perfectly executed by the Godfather, baits them in. 3 heroes wasted a lot of time just to find a fat bit of nothing other than their own Wisdom Shrine. But at least you don't lose the EXP, right? On REKONIX, you're on track to get that Static Storm, the Mortimer's Kisses. Once those are online, you pair that up with either an Arena or Rolling Thunder. Should be pretty easy kills for you to collect on the map.
Worthy tribute.
Net worth-wise, no surprises that the TA is doing very well for herself here. No real beat being gathered at this early stage of the game. Lewis has that Sonic Wave. You gotta be careful in your dream. Wrong side of the river for the rune. Stampede, but the bounce back needed the second jump. But they have the glimpse for it anyway. This is the Rolling Thunder kill that we wanted to see, as In Your Dream lines it up nicely with his supports, and he gets the upper hand this time.
Yeah, big kill on the game. That was huge. And setup, they kind of brought In Your Dream back into the game. Now he has more net worth than the Queen of Pain. He has, I think, survived the laning phase officially.
Good for him. Really difficult situation to be in, especially with that first blood and everything, but...
And here comes Lewis. He's going to try to make a move first. Wants to use the Sonic Wave. Arena being used very, very defensive, but that's going to definitely keep FTZ alive.
I think that is painful, but probably necessary. Like, I think that's worth it for preserving his life and kind of wasting the Queen of Pain's time.
I agree, sir.
Would have been even nicer if she actually threw the Sonic Wave out and you still don't get the kill, right? We'll see. She still has it available now, maybe for another play or setup from the supports. The Bane Tusk, they're the ones dictating the early action, and wherever they go, the kills are hoping to follow. If you're a fan of the Kukuys, of course. Scouting out some of these stacks. Putting out the deep ward behind the tower. They already preemptively put a sentry. But FBZ still walks in despite it. Is that really what you wanted? He's gonna spear away the Bane, but the Brain Sap snowball, they get the kill anyway. So they finished the job that was started around 1.5 minutes ago. I'm not really sure what that was from FBZ. Did he just not see the ward or something?
Radiant's
I am not sure.
Maybe the nighttime vision just cucked him a little bit. Sleep. Nice Sonic Wave onto 2. Rolling Thunder still from In Your Dream manages to go off though. Starting to bounce back Kuku. A glimpse to prevent Gabby from joining the fray, but a nice snowball to dodge it out. Kisses landing onto some of these heroes, but they still have the connection of the static link onto In Your Dream. The last swashbuckle away. One last plasma fill gets the clip off. Gabby finds the distance, but now FBZ has joined the fight. No arena just yet. Has it up in 5 seconds. Would love to lock Gabby into this area, but just a bit too late.
That was very, very unfortunate there.
Dire's bottom tower is
Couldn't really finish off the tusk. They didn't land. I think they missed the scatter blast on the tusk, so he was able to walk out. And you see both teams, they are really wanting to fight in the mid area. They want to just take every single fight. They don't want to give any inch of the real estate away, especially the mid tower. This is the most,
I mean, it feels so...
the most important tower in the game right now.
Both teams hanging on for dear life, not just in this mid lane, but in this close qualifiers. The stakes couldn't be higher. Gotta remind everyone who's just joining us, Kukuys, they were able to fight through a pretty nail-biting series against Ivory, especially that game number 2. Kind of tested them a little bit.
He slept.
Caught TA. There is a grip available. Jikroy, no help on the horizon. This looks to be a very dead TA. The rest of his team is too far away, and they will just have to settle for the carry being taken down. Nice setup there from Kuku.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Yeah, once again the Bane hero, finds the pick. It's also the fact that you're walking heroes towards your teammates right now, Maybe with the old sleep, he would have actually been fine if he was on the low ground. But now your teammates don't even want the TP to save you, right? So you're moving away from them.
Yeah. They did look at Gabby in his own jungle a little bit here, but not feeling confident to chase him through the static link. So he's able to just resume farming and chill out. FBZ not really able to pressure the tower as well. I mean, that's kind of one of the downsides of not having a Helm of Dom hero. That's the one weakness of the Mars. He doesn't really do much damage to the tower himself.
Unless you gate gank for him, as the carry.
Yeah.
If you don't help him,
Cool.
the Mars is not getting the tower.
Oh, nice little Invis rune. The low hiding around the corner. Do you want to try and cookie him out of this tricky situation? The low thinks about it, but understands there's not much to be done here. They're still trying to get the vision. Nice Mortimer's Kisses, the ultimate available. Sonic Wave coming through. FBZ still surviving for now. The Stampede, it's not gonna be able to really save JG here. He still ends up going down. But In Your Dream now, maybe the next one on the chopping block. With Jikroy showing up, perhaps no longer a fight that the side of Kukuys can commit to. This TA just does way too much damage at this early stage. Even though Gabby TP'd in, he very wisely backs off.
I mean, in the end, it's still not the worst trade for Kukuys. Sure, they lost 2 heroes, but it could have been very worse. I mean, at least they killed the Mars, so 1 offlaner for 1 offlaner.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
And the Razor is going to definitely need a BKB this game to confidently run into the fights, Without BKB, you are not running into the arena. Mortimer's Kiss, there's the Static Storm, there's the Rolling Thunder. So these are spells that are very, very powerful right now. Gonna smoke up the 2 supports again.
Oh, that's
Did
nice.
he-
That is nice.
Oh, he
No,
did.
I mean, he gripped, but I think he cancelled it because he knew it wasn't going to go through anyway. The glimpse came out in time. Very, very nicely done from Varish.
There was a death avoided. And now, with no grip, they're gonna try to still pressure mid. Snowball, Corp is out of mana, but they take down the Pangolier there. That is a
Really
huge kill.
not sure what In Your Dream was thinking. Probably assumed that with the lull coming in, they could try and put some pressure on. But the Quap has Blade Mail. You're jumping in with a double jump and you're dealing that damage back to yourself. The shield doesn't do anything. Basically cancels itself out.
The roll was also on cooldown for another 2 seconds, So
Yeah, exactly. Like, that just felt really over-ambitious and just not really respecting the fact that the Quap has the Bondage Facet and the Blade Mail. A bit weird there, to be honest.
Yeah, probably not calculating the return damage there, thinking he would survive with the double, the double jump there. They get a glimpse onto DJ, and catch him. He does not have snowball, but nice shot pushing him out of the field.
Wow. And the Stampede, he's gonna try and juke. He manages to dodge away. Delol can't land the kisses. Well, I'll have you know, DJ is a married man. No sending smoochers his way. He's taken. It's off the market, okay? And both teams, it's like what you said, Winter, they're still desperately fighting over control of this mid lane. It's been this trio battle for what feels like the better part of 7 to 8 minutes for now.
And they're also waiting for this helm to come out from the tusk, which would kind of, I think, turn the tides a little bit on this mid play, you know. They're defending this tower for so long already. Can't really make any progress, you know. They get a sleep onto Dolo. He has to be killed first, you know. He has been so annoying in the team fights. One down.
They take him out.
They trade the
Static
Bane.
Storm. Yeah, the Bane not gonna be able to get the grip out. Lewis taking a lot of damage.
Whoa.
Nice dodge away from the Sonic Wave in your dream. Makes a little sidestep. Managed to get him in the snowball, but he's coming straight back into his potential death. The bump is there, and Jigwai finishes the job. The problem is the Razor can't connect into the fight. JG and him were isolated off to the right by FBZ, and they're not done. JG's gonna try and finish off the Disruptor, gets that last hit, because funnily enough, I think the Disruptor auto-attacked him and got return damage kill. But still, getting the kill onto the Centaur as the dust settles. Jigwai getting some nice little stacks on his Desolator already.
Yeah, that is definitely not a very clean fight there from Kukuys. They're diving too much. The Quap didn't land the Sonic Wave. He wanted to push the Rolling Thunder away, you know, so In Your Dream couldn't come in and just wreak havoc in the team fights there. Didn't work out. He, in the end, ended up, I think, missing just entirely. Didn't really land in on anybody. So that was like a very, very messy fight for Kukuys. You know, so time to reset and try to, I guess, wait for the Crimson. The Crimson is probably going to be a very big item for the Centaur against this Pango, TA, Mars. There's a lot of physical damage here. And DJ is going to start his Helm shenanigans now.
Okay. Let's start pushing the wave. Getting a bit of ghost push going.
Yeah.
Set the Vayne up for more pickoffs around the map, hopefully.
In the meanwhile, Kukuys seem to have more control on the Ancients. They are farming the bottom side Ancients. REKONIX is not getting their hands on the top side Ancients, you know, only their triangle Ancients.
But did I just hear Static Storm on the ground? Who was that for?
The creeps?
That was a bit weird. I don't think so. Can't be. I mean, I must have missed maybe like the Queen of Pain blink out, or maybe the it must have been just the Queen of Pain. Cuckoo ends up going down here. The Lul was able to get the capitalization along with Jigwai, and with the Rolling Thunder, looks like the second support will fall as well. No shenanigans for DJ, doesn't have the snowball anymore, and will just end up getting swashed down. They're still trying to chase down Varij though, but he's able again to just slide out with a sliver of HP.
Thanks to the Windlace. Windlace saving lives. If you have
Sister
an
Shroud as
empty
well.
slot, you always buy a Windlace.
So true. I'm a Windlace enjoyer. I can respect that. You know, sometimes I forget I have a Windlace and I buy a second Windlace just because I love the item so much. That ever happened to you? Like, you just kind of focused on something else, Cuckoo? In the mid lane, being caught out. He slept up the Pango, but wakes up just in time to swash him down in your dream. Quite a few nice kills going his way, and he's starting to scale up, right? Looking 2 components into that Aghanim Scepter. He's going to be putting out a lot of damage in these team fights.
Now, how's the TA doing? TA has the Dagger, Dragonlance, that's all. He is looking for one pick into Roshan. Like, he is definitely ready to kill that Roshan.
He's hungry. DJ, dominate the creep, pull the wave away. Trying to be cute and all. It's pretty cute, I'll give him that. Do REKONIX feel comfortable enough to just attempt this Roche without getting a pick on the mid tower though? That's the question. Because in just about a minute, it's going to move to the bot side. And I kind of feel like that favors the side of Kukuys at that point, because the contest just feels so much easier.
Yeah, being on the ramp on the other side, it just feels better for Dyer. I think when the Roshan moves, you're going to look to get Tormentor. You're not going to look to get Rosh first on the Radiant side. I think the Tormentor is definitely going to be the first one. You see the smoke, they're all coming in, they're getting ready for this Tormentor to spawn in 20 seconds. There's both Observer Wards on the lane for both teams. Scan, they see Radiant see Dyer, they know they're around.
Vision being placed down now. Lewis will show on the way. Jikroy immediately starting to swipe away. Doesn't get any connections. One gets pinged out.
Oh, they're gonna
Kukuys
grid.
trying.
Big
That's
arena.
not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen. The Sonic Wave comes through and pushes them back. Gabby needs to find the static link though. Gets it onto Jikroy, but only for a second. They just don't have enough damage on the Razor to stand up and fight. Gonna get stunned up. Gonna get cookied on and destroyed. That was the BKB Razor reveal, and it goes horribly wrong. The task TP's out, but Lewis won't quite be as lucky. The Reach had its sights set, and that team fight setup was perfect.
Very, very big arena there. Immediately reacting to the grip. Kukuys saw, I think he broke the smoke. He saw the TA and then he immediately gripped him. But the arena was even better, you know. He traps them in place, cancels the grip, and the fight was just basically over after the static storm was on the arena with 3 heroes.
That's kind of what you gotta do when you got a Mars, when you got a Disruptor. You want to put the circles of death together. And REKONIX absolutely did that. Really nice setup with the vision pre-placed in the lane. They knew what was coming. They had it all mapped out. And again, we're seeing a bit of an issue with this Razor. He just can't get across to the spot on the fight that he needs. There's so many tools for the TA, the cookie, just the pushback, like all these little disruptive tools that are stopping Gabby from getting on his target.
Also the fact that you don't have dagger on Centaur, right? Because they couldn't really find the opening. You need the dagger either from Tusk or Centaur, then you go in the fights, then you feel like the Razor can actually find an opening, right? Because of the nature of their lineup and they don't have daggers, sure, you're gonna see the Razor walking in like a kid, you know, trying to hit the grown-up, you know, but just when the moment he reaches there, he's already getting pushed around, stunned, he took a lot of damage. And I think that is why it felt like the Razor couldn't find impact in the fights, right? I think it would soon change when the dagger comes from the Centaur and the Tusk. I mean, they have one dagger now. They bought a dagger on Centaur. So Tusk needs to get the other one because they have to try to focus, I think, immediately kill the backliners with the Disruptor and the Snap. Those are the heroes that need to die first.
Yeah, it's so tricky though because you're rarely gonna see them standing next to each other and they can save each other, right? The Disruptor, the Snap,
it's the
TA,
quad.
what do they all have in common?
Have to go in and kind of give them vision.
Quad needs a BKB though, that's the problem, and she's quite far away from it. If she goes in and she gets immediately Static Storm, that's gonna be the end of the fight as well.
Not necessary though. I think if he tanks the Static Storm, they have to use Arena and Static Storm on him. I still feel like it could be good for them. The Razor could clean up the fight. So it's all
so
about
just
like,
a bit of a sacrificial play in a way.
like he's in the Static Storm now, but he's alone. So this is not the
Yeah,
type
no,
of Static.
not. He's practicing. No, Winter, he's practicing. Okay, he needs to sort of get the. It's a hard thing to accept, so he's getting himself used to it. You ever hear of exposure therapy?
You mean the AA facet?
Is that actually what it's called?
No, it's called
No
exposure.
way. Okay.
Okay, that's the timber in it, right? Or something.
No, it's some. Yeah, I don't even.
Yeah,
even
it's
know.
the
Whatever
timber
the case.
in it. It's the timber in it.
Exposure therapy. He like gets healed or gets mana back when he kills a tree. Timber is so funny, dude. The design always cracks me up. But right now they're cracking Roshan left, right, and center. DJ has a nice little creep in a very obnoxious spot. I don't know why this still exists in the game. I really, really don't. It's rather silly. I mean, if DJ comes in, well, clearly not, because they didn't see that Centaur, but they do see a bigger Centaur. They see JG. He has a Stampede available, waiting for the walls of the arena to go down, waiting for the fence as well. Might just need to commit it to survive, but he knows there's still a glimpse, so really, he's not getting out of this one.
There is no escape from the Disruptor. Things are definitely getting harder and harder for Team Kukuys right now. I mean, the Razor just feels like he hasn't really have any openings to enter the game. Corp is dying on the map. I don't think he can expect to farm the BKB for the next fight. He needs to just go to the... I think he just needs to go and tank for the Razor. Just be the first one in, you give some vision so the Centaur and Tusk can actually find openings. I think you let the Centaur go in. He needs to find the Disruptor or Snap. And then the Tusk maybe just sit back and wait to save either the Corp or the Razor with Snowball. I think the Tusk doesn't necessarily have to jump in and initiate.
Radiant's bottom tower is
But things
This
like
hasn't really been convincing so far from the Queen of Pain and the
No, yeah, definitely
Razor, I
not.
want to say. The Razor is scaling up. The problem, as it always has been, it's not that Razor doesn't have damage. It's not that Razor can't farm. It's not, and none of these things. It's just, can Razor find the correct position in the fight? It's always been somewhat a one-dimensional hero in that sense, right? You need to find the right spot to get the static link off, and if you don't, you're missing out on your carry potential, right? Your main goal as Razor is to anti-carry, but if you're nowhere near the carry, then you're not really doing your job. I mean, I will say that, you know, as far behind as they are, 10k right now at the 25-minute mark, I think Kuku's Bane and DJ's Tusk, they've been really trying their hardest and busting their asses to find these opportunities. It's just, Jikroy, he had such a swell game so far, and it's so much easier to bring the TA into these engagements than it is the Razor.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant's top
Yeah, they're just not like finding the openings, right? I think sometimes with this sort of lineup, you need to play for each other, even though it means that somebody has to lay down their body for the other to crawl over.
Ooh, I like that. That's very poetic, Winter. But unfortunately, the only thing that they'll be doing is lying down in their bed, wondering, you know, we played such a solid game number one at the start of the day, and then it all kind of got a little fuzzy at the end.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
It's a team game. You have to enable each other. I think sometimes the players in SEA just play too much for themselves. You know? They don't really,
Dire are scared.
I think, utilize each other a lot. Like sometimes
Yeah, I mean,
it
you
might
did
not,
say that.
Yeah, it might not be your timing, but it could be someone else's timing, right? So you're supposed to just play for him.
It kind of speaks to the dissent within the team as well, right? Like, we were talking about how it felt like they weren't entirely clear about whose calls they were following. It was quite conflicted. JG now getting speared up to his own little statue, and the Mortimer's kisses rip them apart. Jikroy, you might be draining the damage, but you're draining your life. You ain't got anything else to give. That's 4 heroes down. The Queen of Pain couldn't even join. Did you really want to fight into an AD rune TA? That proves to be a big mistake.
But you're also not going to give the Rex for free. I think it's just...
Well, now you give it for more than free. GG, Kukuys are done. It's gonna be REKONIX that end up moving forward here. Very well played for them, especially in this game number 3, showing their stuff and showing that they deserve to belong here. Tightened up the draft, came through with a much more well-rounded affair compared to what we saw in game number 2, and will rightfully take their victory here in this series.
They're definitely the more solid